Welcome back. We are now on step 4 of the home seller process, or how to get your home sold. And if you've watched the other videos, we've been through steps 1, 2, and 3. Step 1 was our initial conversation with each other. Step 2 was determining some pricing information. And then step 3 is kind of what I call the cleanup and get ready stage. So that's when we were packing up everything and making sure we were ready to go to market. So your house is now ready to appeal to the masses. It looks the best that it's looked since you've lived there, and you're ready to get it sold. So this next step is what I call the pre-market launch party. So we're not quite ready to go live yet, but we're getting real close. So now is when we're going to have our videography and photography team come out. We're going to create floor plans of your property if you don't have them. We're going to do hundreds of photographs that will then narrow down to the ones that we're actually going to use for different marketing purposes. We'll do drone videography and photography. We'll do full actual videography of the interior and exterior of your home. We'll actually even do some marketing videos of myself and the rest of the team so that we can use those for social media to get your home sold. So that's one part of this pre-market launch. Once we get those digital assets back, which typically takes us between 24 and 48 hours for our team to return those, then we're going to get busy getting ready to get your house on the market. Now, there is going to be some strategic placement in terms of the day of the week that we actually have all of these things done and when we go live. So it may be that the photography and videography falls on a Wednesday. Well, we're not going live the next day on a Thursday. Thursday is launch day, but it's not that Thursday. It's going to be the following Thursday. Well, why on earth would you wait an entire week when you have everything you need to just get my house on the market? Again, remember, we're driving people to your property. We want launch day to be a massive influx of people coming to look at your house. We can't do that quickly. There's some steps in place that we're going to talk about right now. So after we've had that photography and we've gotten those assets back, we're going to start our coming soon process, which for us is a lot of behind the scenes work that the seller isn't necessarily involved in, but that we're doing on your behalf. That's reaching out to all of our contacts, other agents that we know, people that we have that are buyers within our agency that may be looking for certain properties. So we're doing all of that kind of behind the scenes. We're also creating and ordering the invitations for an invitation only launch party that will be at your home the day that it goes live or the night before, depending on the weather typically and the location. So we're going to invite some VIP guests to come tour your home on the day it goes live or the night before. And again, we're trying to bring the masses of people to create this excitement about your house going on the market. So all those have to be ordered, they have to be mailed, they have to be delivered. Those people have to be called to reminded to come. So a lot of things that go into this part that again are just behind the scenes that you don't necessarily see as the homeowner that we're doing to drive that traffic on day one. The other thing that we're going to have to talk about is what does that showing process look like? What do you want it to look like? So we'll give you some guidelines and some best practices, but only you can tell us that I work every day and I have a meeting every day from 11 to 2 that cannot be interrupted and I take that meeting call from home. Okay, so we've got to block 11 to 2 every day so that your home isn't shown during that time period. Or I've got 2 dogs that I've got to remove from the property and take with me so that it can be shown. Okay, so you need an hour lead time. My child goes to bed. I have an infant. They go to bed at 7:30 at night, maybe 8 o'clock. Okay, well, we can't have showings past that. So we've got to know all of these things. We're going to ask you a lot of probably pretty personal information about your life and how it's structured on a day-to-day basis. It's not to get into your business. It's so that we can make sure that we're scheduling the showings around your schedule. Now, I do have a rule of thumb for this. People are always surprised. You're in the middle of cooking dinner. There are pots and pans in the sink. You're trying to literally get the plates on the table and you get a request for a showing in the next 30 minutes. I'm going to need you to leave all that where it is. And I'm going to need you to text me that says, I was in the middle of cooking dinner and I just got this showing request, but the answer is yes. Great. And you say to me, but my house is a wreck and it smells like spaghetti and garlic bread. What am I going to do? Well, you're going to leave it because you live there. I am going to take on the responsibility to contact that buyer, and I'm going to share with them exactly what was happening at that moment in time so that they understand how they themselves would also probably be at this time of day cooking dinner for their family. And they're going to be able to look past that. Because when a buyer wants to come, your answer has to be yes, because we don't know if that's our buyer that's going to give us the greatest offer on your property. So we're going to have a lot of discussions about what your daily life looks like so that we can coordinate those showings effectively. Along with that, we're going to ask you, how do you like to be communicated with about showings? Now, we've had communication conversations back in step 1 about how you want us to communicate with you, but how do you want to learn about showings? And there's a lot of ways we have of doing that. We can call you, we can text you, we can email you. We've got options, but we want to know what you prefer. Okay? How much lead time do you need to get out of there? But again, the answer to, can we show your property at 5:30 this afternoon, is always yes. So we're moving right on up to list date. We're going to create our MLS sheet. That means what's going to go live out there on the internet. We're going to ask you to review it just to make sure that all of the information we have is correct. You filled out a homeowner questionnaire at this point to tell us about all of those updates and anything you've done to the property, but we just want you to go through this data with us one final time to make sure that nothing's been missed. We, at this point, have created the buyer avatar. Who do we think the most likely buyer is? And we've created our marketing around that to push to that demographic, those people that we feel like are your buyer. And we're going to ask you then to complete, lastly, right before we go live, the seller's property disclosure. And that has to be done right as we go live on the market. We're going to want to publish that along with some other information. So we're just going to kind of review all of those paperwork items with you to make sure they're completed to the best of your ability so that then we can get ready on live day. So what happens on live day? We're pre-launching. We're ready to go live. So we've had our invitation-only open house, and then we'll give you the timeline on the next video of what happens from live day through the time that you get an offer. So stick around. We've been through step 1, which is our meeting together. Step 2, we've priced your house. Step 3, we've done the pack and play. We've packed it up to get ready to play on the market. And now 4, we've gotten your pre-launch ready to go live on the market on Thursday. Stick around and we'll get to the next step in the process, which is step number 5 on the next episode.